Hello, it's Julia, and obviously today is Wednesday. Or wait, um, hmm, no, it's Tuesday. But I'm doing my video anyway because tomorrow is a day of nothing, and I'm not gonna really get all dressed up and everything. So you're gonna deal with me on Tuesday whether you like it or not, and you'll have another day to chew on me and chew on what I have to say. Um, so, even though this topic was my idea to do, it really came from mostly Ash, I think, and what he was saying to me in one of his last videos about gender dysphoria and the fact that he kind of felt quite a bit of it going back to college and the situation he was in, being in a female dorm and not having as much privacy, that kind of stuff. So it's interesting listening to something like that and trying to wonder how he deals with it and with his whole situation with the Navy and all, and how he tried to deal with it, um, and how different it was. So I decided that gender dysphoria should be the topic for this week because it's a topic that all of us in the trans community deal with, every once in a while, or haven't in a long while. Um, I believe that even if people don't think they do, they do. Um, Even if you're as comfortable as you can be with your body, not everyone is. And whether you take that and internalize it, or you take what they said and then look in the mirror, and go, you know, they might be right. Or, you let what somebody says get to you. Everyone has moments of weakness. And I don't care what anybody says. You can say you are the absolute least possible, least possible to get any kind of dysphoria, but it happens to even to anybody, um, no matter what. I mean, even probably let's just say a tranny porn star who makes their living because of the dichotomy of their sexual organs. Even they probably have issues sometimes when they're trying to go out, trying to meet men or women, and they have problems. It happens, and until surgeries happen, and the surgeries don't even fix everything, because a female to male who has had any kind of metoidoplasty or phalloplasty can't get a woman pregnant. And when a male to female has the whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it gender confirmation surgery, sexual reassignment surgery, gender reassignment surgery, or just a sex change operation, um, it still doesn't change the fact that that's a different beast down there than your genetic woman has. It might look like it from the outside, and depending on what doctor you go to, it might not look too close sometimes, because I've seen some that don't exactly look too great. But everyone gets, everyone does, their surgery a little different, but that's not the point. But even though you can't get pregnant, you have to worry about your depth. You have to worry about and getting wet down there comes from a different place. It's completely different. So, as much as it looks like it, it doesn't act like it. Um, so, what I deal with, I haven't dealt with dysphoria in a long while, and at least since I started hormones. Now, I've noticed, especially with me, that I get into phases of almost euphoria for a while. Um, 10 years ago, when I started working as Julia, I was euphoric. I was happy. I was really happy to be out, to be working as, to be more comfortable with myself. But then, over time, I got less and less comfortable with the status quo and with where I had basically stopped. That's one of the issues that led to the divorce with my ex. That's something that led to the led to me finally deciding to go forward with hormones. It's something that when something is new, it's fresh, it's exciting. But those feelings of dysphoria started coming back for different reasons. I started getting dysphoric because of the fact that, okay, I passed. Whoopie doo. But I didn't feel like it. I still had a male sex drive. A. I still, got erections. All the time. I still, I was still physically male, and I wasn't feeling too good about that. I was pretty, pretty down about it. And then, and only then, when I decided to start hormones and actually got on the hormones, I had basically a euphoria at that point when I was not dysphoric for a while. I was so happy to just be going forward with everything that I really didn't think about anything else. I didn't think about not passing. I didn't think about all that. I was just happy that I was moving forward with things. And the whole, oh, well, even though I'm on hormones, I still have the penis, I still have this, still have that, still gotta get this done, still gotta get that done, wasn't in my mind. Um, but one thing I have experienced is especially in when it comes to being forced into a certain gender, into being in guy mode, especially with family. I'm not as bad as I used to be, because my family kinda accepts me, doesn't really, but accepts me dressing more and more ambiguous and more female as it goes along. What I normally do is this. What you see is what you get. Except I don't wear a bra, I don't wear makeup. And I wear, most of the time, just, like a generic, t-shirt, usually a Phillies t-shirt or something like this. So, it's kind of baggy and everything. So, you know, I, I, but when I look in the mirror there, what helps is looking in the mirror. Because I don't see Guy when I look in the mirror anymore. And that helps. That helps with my dysphoria. If I still looked in the mirror when I was dressed like that and saw Guy, then I would be in really poor shape mentally, um, in those kinds of situations. But now It's not like they're forcing me into a tuxedo or a suit or anything. But for now, it's what I have to do. And it's and just looking in the mirror and saying, "You look good." Even though I'm not really 100% in Julia mode, I still think I look good, and that's all that matters. Um, you know, I also had that problem, as I explained in my video last week, with discrimination in bathrooms. I'm used to food service, used to smaller places where there are one person bathrooms, so I really don't have that problem too much. Um, when there are more than one person bathrooms, usually I'm working somewhere where the bathrooms are usually pretty empty anyway, doesn't really matter, and frankly, I pass well enough, so nobody gives me any shit. Um, I've always sat down to pee. I've learned how to pee, so it sounds different. So I don't really have any problems there. Um, but I still have some dysphoria when I look into a mirror. Um, I know I don't want that thing down there, but I know that it's here for the meantime, and I know I have to shave every day. That's going to be here in the meantime. But what helps is that my hair is getting lighter in my face, especially up here. It's getting completely light, and the texture of it is getting different because there are days when I'll be home for 2 days in a row and I won't shave, and the third day I'll be like, huh, that feels nice and soft when it used to be coarse. So that kind of stuff, the changes in my body do help with that. And as much as just so I keep seeing progress, I look in the mirror and I see a different person than I saw a year ago. Because of that, I don't see the dysphoria as much. I don't have it as much. But it still happens every once in a while when I look when I'm having sex with somebody, and um yeah, it feels good to have to get to be blunt, to get oral. It feels good, but I would rather something else. But until I get something else, that's what I got, and I just have to deal with it. But it's it is what it is. That's it. It just is what it is. And I just learn to deal with it. And it's been 13 and a half minutes. So I know this has actually been a pretty good video, but I am going to say goodbye. So I will talk to you later. And if you want, check out my channel, Julia Z12345, and my food channel, which is Foodaholics 101. Talk to you next week. Peace out.